Star Wars. We all know it and most of us love it. It's an era-defining story that takes you on wild adventures, twists, and everything in between. It's had its handful of games, TV shows, side movies, comics, books, and more. It has become part of our culture, part of who we identify as and with. And it has definitely had its ups and its downs. And in today's episode of What Makes This Game Great, I'll be going over one of the greatest ups in the Star Wars universe ever. In late 2019, 3 days after the first episode of a little show called The Mandalorian first dropped, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was released. Now when it comes to Star Wars games, they aren't as known or even as good as the main bunch of content, the movies. But this game is in the top 2, if not best, Star Wars game ever and one of the greatest games of all time. Why, you may be asking? Let me explain. This game takes you on high-stakes combat and puzzling adventures, all throughout a new expanse of the Star Wars universe. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, we'll just be calling it Fallen Order, is, in my mind, the greatest piece of Star Wars content in the last decade or two. Fallen Order is so good in many ways. Not only does it have a good story, plot twists, but above all, it stays true to Star Wars. Winner of many awards, a simply genius story, and in my mind, one of the greatest games of all time. But why? What makes this game so great? In this episode, I hope to answer what makes Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order great. The story in this game is somewhat simple but handled really well. Set in the Star Wars universe just 5 years after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You play as the main character, Padawan Cal Kestis, as he's hunted down by two of the newly formed Galactic Empire's ruthless Inquisitors, the Second Sister and the Ninth Sister, while trying to complete his training, block out his disturbing past, and re-establish the fallen Jedi Order. The game is set in a more darker world, as the Emperor Palpatine has just purged the galaxy from all the Jedi, and the Republic just died, and the Galactic Empire has been initiated. In this game, you are the last Jedi. Yeah, a couple of characters used to be Jedi back in their day, but we won't count them. As the main story is somewhat simple, there is a lot going on behind the scenes. Some characters you thought were close friends might be a little closer to the dark side than you thought. The story takes you all throughout this new part of the Star Wars universe, as the game adds a lot to Star Wars. It takes you through all kinds of new and interesting environments and faces you off with never-seen-before creatures like this bat thing. You play as Cal, a Padawan who narrowly escaped being killed by Order 66. He struggles a lot with his past and who he is, as in the beginning he tries to block it out completely in an attempt to go through the rest of his life as if he had never heard of the Force. Later in the story, he grows to take on the fact that he is a Jedi and the last Jedi and stand up to the young Galactic Empire while trying to rebuild the fallen Jedi Order. You have 3 main companions, BD-1, Sarah, who secretly used to be a Jedi and trained the Second Sister, and Grease, the pilot and captain of the ship. You can get other people to join your squad, but for the most part, these are your buddies. The enemies come from all over the place. The character design is really nice too. It does stay true to Star Wars with that almost cowboy color scheme. The gameplay is very similar to the Soulsborne games, a bit of the Uncharted series, and even the Batman Gotham series. You can lock on the targets, you can bounce from one thug, or in this case, usually stormtroopers, to another. You have several abilities that you can unlock and upgrade that enhance the game in many different ways. Double jump, wall running, and a lot more. The game is almost split into 3 sections: boss fights, combat, puzzles, and parkour. While boss fights and combat might be an important part of the game, most of it will be spent figuring out how different puzzles and contraptions work. And not a single problem with that, as many of these puzzles are clear that a lot of time went into them, and they're really fun. It's also a lot like Uncharted with its sliding around, jump at this right time, grab onto that, now release at the right time and jump onto this thing. All the while a million stormtroopers are shooting at you. Another really cool feature for the puzzles are that a lot of them you just can't complete. You have to come back to it later when you're a higher level because it might require certain abilities that you haven't unlocked yet. Doing this keeps the game going for a bit, as you need to go back to levels you had already been and complete stuff. When it comes to smaller details, this game's got it down. You can customize your lightsaber. You want it a certain color, not a problem. You want it double-sided, not a problem at all. Your ship can be customized, and even your crew, as you can add different companions to your group. You can customize BD1, different abilities, colors, enhancements, all of it. Other small details are like holding your lightsaber up so you can see in the dark. The fact that some enemies can be hacked by BD1. Stormtroopers talk and say stuff that sounds genuine and almost makes you want to not kill them. Almost. Lightsabers burn the ground when they touch it. It's small details like these that really light up the game. All of the previous sections were simple facts, stuff we can all agree on, but for this last section, I'll be listing what really makes this game great. Over the years, Star Wars has changed. Luke got older, new characters, more characters, different planets, and the list goes on, and before you know it, it's not the same Star Wars we all know and love. It's something else, something different. The newer movies really took the lead on this. The tech looks different, the world feels different. It's not the same Star Wars. But Fallen Order does something that really made this game great. It stayed true to Star Wars. This is the first Star Wars thing to come out in the last decade or two. How does it do this, you may be asking? Let me explain. The music sounds like classic John Williams cinema score of the 70s. Playing this game made me love Star Wars again. It really did. I didn't recognize any of the songs, but they sounded so much like they were in the original Star Wars that I love. The characters, I'd never seen any of them in my life until the game, but they felt like they were from the classic Star Wars. You have Cal, a kid who had a troubling past, wields the Force, is bright, fun, and adventurous, and has a droid buddy. It sounds a lot like Luke Skywalker to me. Now, while they stayed true to Star Wars in many ways, they also expanded on it. They introduced many new aliens, new droids, new planets, new enemies, all kinds of stuff. So let this be a model to every new Star Wars anything, and really just any remake or remaster. Just look at what Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order did. They brought excitement back to Star Wars. They stayed true to it while also adding a lot to it. This game is great in many ways. The story is simple but handled well. The gameplay relies on how fast you can dodge enemy attacks by picking up visual and audio cues. The small details that bring it to life. Something so simple as holding up your lightsaber to light your path. The game is great in so many ways. But most of all, it stays true to Star Wars. It feels fun and uplifting, adventurous. It has good characters like Cal and his best friend BD1. It has close friends that have some kind of past with the enemy. The music takes you back to classic Star Wars. The real Star Wars. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions to future videos, feel free to let me know. And what is your favorite Star Wars movie? I hope you have a great day, and remember, life is short. Play great games.